Algeria. Tout point. Caribbean. Good stuff. Got globes. I ended up with the pyramids, didn't I? I was all happy, all joyful about Pyramid Giza. And finally, it's been worked out for me. Okay? So I say, I know that they've been submerged, never been able to work out where on earth all of that water came from, right, on a round planet. I stumble across a flat earth later in my life and find out that that is where the water came from that submerged the pyramids, okay? And kind of left it on that note, didn't I? So to me it made sense to crank up again here with the pyramids, right? And then as I'm cranking up, I'm getting my PowerPoint board ready, right? This is a true story. And boom, 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 got a few photos gone missing. But I'm looking at the erosion, at the water erosion, right? I am looking at that water erosion mark on Giza, okay? And I get a flashback, don't I? The last time that we were speaking about it. And I can remember everybody that I speak to comes back and says, no, that was Napoleon Bonaparte firing cannonballs at it. Or it was earthquakes. Or it was people scurrying up in the middle of the night, taking bits and pieces and then scurrying back down. Or it was lightning. Or it was wind and abrasive sand. And alarm bells started to ring. This is a true story, okay? It's not really a story, it's just what was going on in my mind. And I look at it again. And I say to myself, how? How can anybody think that happened with lightning? Are they taking the Mickey Mouse out of me? Or are they that stupid that they... And the alarm bells just keep ringing. What is going on here, right? I am now, I'm not starting to freak out, okay? Not going to freak out. There's a few sentences I want to say. But I know that when I say you have no common sense, sometimes it offends people. And the things that I have in my back of my mind right now, things like either I'm overly, a little bit maybe overly, not intelligent, but just aware of stuff, or everybody else is just, did that come out? I don't want to say it. Look, what's going on? I am being serious. What's going on? How, you know what I'd love right now? The last 20 people that I've spoken to online be sat here with me. Random stuff. The last 20 people. And I want to know why you're saying the things that you're saying about certain things. Anybody who thinks that water erosion mark on the top of Pyramid Giza, right? Anybody who thinks that this has been done by lightning. We're going to go on a bus ride a little bit later on this afternoon. I want you to come on that bus, okay? Anybody who thinks Napoleon Bonaparte fired cannonballs at Pyramid Giza on the north, south, east and west faces and somehow carved the perfect water erosion pattern into it, please, you join us on the same bus ride. Same person, the same bus as the lightning person is going to be on. Now, anybody who thinks that earthquakes made some of this here topple on the north, south, east and west faces of Pyramid Giza, but left all the others untouched. Bus ride this afternoon. Anybody who thinks wind and abrasive sand raced around the top of Pyramid Giza on the north, south, east and west faces and carved a groove probably 20 meters wide and in some places 8, 9 meters deep. Anybody who thinks that, please follow everybody else onto this bus ride this afternoon. Because on that bus ride, we'll go over this again. And I'll ask the questions. Right, hands up, who's the lightning person? Yes, me over here. So you think that'll be it? I am going to hog tie people and throw them off of the bus, but still have them tied on so that they bounce. Just 50 metres, 70 metres, or until the bus driver realises what's going on. What is going on? How can anybody see anything other than water erosion here? This is what I am really having a lot of trouble understanding. Now, so which is it? It's exactly the same as the speed of light. It's exactly the same as the speed of light. How on earth can anybody say that there is an 8-minute and 20-second light delay between light leaving the sun and arriving at the moon, and then we have a little 1.3 second bounce after the moon before the shadow of the moon reaches Earth? Who thinks that? Bus ride this afternoon, please. You might have to bring your own rope, because I'm going to run out. I'm going to be hog-tying so many people. I sometimes joke, don't I? I say, look, I ended up on the wrong planet. Somebody hustled me. Somebody said, get off here, mate. Or somebody, look, I can't remember. I cannot remember the journey here. All right? Did somebody hustle me? Is there somebody, some really stupid person on a planet somewhere with all of these really intelligent folk, and this person is just lost? And have I'm not saying I'm super intelligent, but I'm not saying you're all stupid folk. But what I'm saying is, I'm having trouble getting the words out here. Now, this was going to be a very, very simple task of a couple of facts that should put the pyramids and the Egyptians to sleep for a long, long time, until another civilization comes along and is not too clever about things and gets a bit confused with the basics. Pyramid Giza weighs not the equivalent, weighs 6.5 million tons. That could have gone up now. 6, 5.5, 7.5. I have always said 6.5. 6.5 million tons, not 6.5 tons. The current theory, I say that was just maybe a few days ago. There could have been half a dozen other new ones since then, because they pump them out like insane mothers, don't they? It's like a Spanish, not a delicacy, but it's like a donut, but not a donut. Sprinkle sugar. Look, pumping theories, pyramid theories out. The insult, see, here I go again. But you guys are serious. Some people believe that the Egyptians used water elevators. How do you end up? Anybody who believes the water lift elevator thing, where they lifted, bus this afternoon please, okay? 25,000 Egyptians. If we divide the 6.5 million tons by 25,000 Egyptians, it works out to be 260 tons each. Now, this is the crazy thing. It's been a couple of months since I've done this, right? But I remember stuff, comments, people that I've thrown off of the bus. I think this guy was maybe one of the first that I dragged along the asphalt for a period of time, and it was the bus driver that said, "Yo!" and I had to let him go. Now, I think he said, "That's nothing, 260 tons each." Huh, excuse me? He said, and I quote, look, I will even go back and find it. What do you mean 260 tons each is nothing? It's doable, mate. It's doable. It's doable. Now, you know the speed of light thing with the absolute light, and it simply cannot play out with finite light. I say, slam dunk, all of it, slam dunk. It's 100% fact, and it's common sense, it's obvious, logic. The thing about the pyramids and the Egyptians is this is a fact, right? But everybody kind of pretends this fact is not there. It's exactly the same as that one. I think it's just a majority thing. You think people bustle through the freaking sliding doors or the turning doors. Here's the thing. Now please, I need you to pay attention here, because something is not adding up. Either I am on the right planet, right? And all of you, everybody is a test for me. And when I go back to wherever I come from, I get a promotion. Yay! Well done, mate. You put up with all of this shit. You survived. Boom. Indigo Child Class 1. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Right? It's that. Or, what else could it be? That. Oh, I feel like I don't belong here. Right? Or all of you don't belong here. Again, see? Maybe everybody else. Maybe they sent all of you guys and gals to the wrong planet. And I've been here not realizing there's been a mistake somewhere. Admin, right? They were supposed to send a different type of person here, right? Not just you guys and I have been waiting here for those people and they haven't turned up. And I've been going out of my head trying to work out what is going on. You guys are doing exactly the same because of me, and it's just a clerical error. Somewhere, somebody has just sent all of you guys to the wrong planet, right? So maybe over this weekend, pack your suitcases, right? Talk to my people, and I'll see if I can get you to fuck off. And hopefully the other people will come. Or, this is where I'm at. Because everything that I talk about, when I say slam dunk, when I slam dunk something, I'm not doing it for the sake of doing it, right? I am not mistaken about what I'm saying, and I'm constantly accidentally slam dunking things that aren't slam dunkable. Believe you me, when I say slam dunk, the speed of light radiating from the sun is absolute slam dunk. That's it. Now, yesterday I was saying it doesn't matter what other people say. I'm not being arrogant. I'm not being arrogant. I am not being arrogant. The other people that were supposed to be on this planet, they would understand what I'm saying, right? It doesn't matter what anybody else says. The light radiating from the sun is absolute. Okay? Slam dunk. I'm not saying it like a maybe. Right, he slam dunk, let's look it up and see. No. It's a slam dunk. Ball's here, and you fly up, and you come down to the basket, and you don't miss. The speed of light radiating from the sun is absolute slam dunk. The Egyptians had nothing. That's if they existed. The Egyptians had nothing to do with the construction of any pyramids, okay? Slam dunk. Again, I'm not making it up. It's not like a 99% sure. How do I know? Isn't it obvious? Is it not obvious that these things are ancient? It's almost like, nah, it can't be. The pyramids, the Egyptians, there is not even one. You have to listen, please, because I'm slam dunking this one as well, okay? There is no explanation, not one logical, feasible, common sense orientated explanation for how even 2.5 ton stone was carved out of anywhere with just copper hand tools and ropes and sleds. And you must listen to me when I say this. These people, they're doing it again. You have yourselves how many theories now about, well, we know how they built them now. They used an underground tunnel with water, some bridges, and some margarine, right? And then next week, it will be something else. And then the following week, it will be something else. Whatever theory they are giving you now, in a month, it will be wrong. Then, no, it will be wrong in a month. It will be right now because they haven't come up with any other assorted horseradish jars yet. There is no logical explanation anywhere not even in the dimension that I come from, for how anybody, not just the Egyptians, carved one single stone out of a quarry using just copper hand tools, okay? That's what I used to scream when I used to be a screamer. And I'd read all of these theories, people with qualifications, PhDs, bachelors of the arts, university degrees. God help us. They've got all of these theories. How the Egyptians built the pyramids. But without the first step. So, if you do not have a logical solution for the very first step of something, okay, I don't want it to sound like I'm being patronizing, or maybe you can hear some sarcasm creeping out of my entire being right now. If you don't have an answer or a solution for the very, very, very first step of something, like the pyramids, you simply cannot go on and make theories about how they built them. If you do not know, see, for me, pure common sense, it's logic. If you don't know how they got the stones out of the rock, right? If you don't know that, is it logical to come up with a theory for how the Egyptians built the pyramids if you don't know how they got the stones out of the quarries? A single stone. Somebody, Bueller? Thank you, Bueller. No, it's not logical. But have you Googled how did the Egyptians build the pyramids? But there is no answer, no solution, not even a hint of a solution, how one single stone was cut out. It's ridiculous. It's an insult to, it's not an insult to people's intelligence. Well, it kind of is, because they're claiming knowledge that cannot be known again. Can you see where I'm coming from? I really hope some of you are starting to see where I'm coming from. The solar eclipse. If you have a solar eclipse, right, and during that solar eclipse, you have a light source, right? And that light source, whether it be a flat Earth, and the sun's just around the corner there, or it's a round Earth and it's 150 million kilometers away. See how I mentioned the flat Earth first this time? Sorry, round Earth, shut up. If you have a light source, and then you have something blocking the light, or the light source, whatever, right? And that something that's blocking the light casts a shadow, right? When that's happening, if it's the actual light source that is directly behind the object that is casting the shadow onto a third party, in this case, the flat Earth, I mean the round Earth, right? What it means is it is the actual light source that is being blocked, not something that has come off of it and that has travelled for 8 minutes and 20 seconds, had a cup of tea and some biscuits, finally arrives at the object that's going to cast the shadow. But where are they? It is obvious. This is the common sense. The other people who were supposed to be on this planet would have been going, mate, you don't even need to tell us this. Is there anything else you need to tell us, or we can go and have a break? this stuff is incredibly basic. It's about common sense. What have they done to you? Maybe I am on the right planet. There cannot be a solar eclipse. There cannot be any kind of eclipse, any light being eclipsed by something unless it is the actual light source. Because light is absolute, right? It is always the light source being blocked. It is never packets of invisible, massless photons. Never. One of the giveaways, there's a little bit of a red flag here. When they say invisible, massless, right there, if you stop and think, invisible, massless, just think about it, okay? Now, this was going to be about the pyramids today. It was going to take about 14 minutes. I wasn't going to get stressed. I wasn't going to insult anybody. I wasn't even going to mention that I might be a being from another dimension. Because I'm not. That would be ridiculous. Wouldn't it? It wouldn't make sense, would it? Would it? The indigo child thing. Could it possibly be? Could it possibly be? Right? Of course it couldn't. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous as a solar eclipse with Mickey Mouse photons. More ridiculous even. Okay? Now, Pyramid Giza. Well, I didn't do the other two pyramids because Pyramid Giza on its own, you don't need the other two pyramids as a backup. You don't need, Pyramid Giza's got this covered on its own, right? Now, the building blocks. There are 2,300,000 2.5 ton stones. Okay? Right. So we have 2,300,000. How do you know? Have you counted them? No. But I have seen the study of how it was worked out, how deep they go, how high it is, and guess what? It convinced me. Have you? There's always somebody, always, right? Are you sure? Are you sure? 2,300,000 2.5 ton stones. Give or take 2 for that person, okay? 2.5 ton stones. We have 25,000 Egyptians. If we divide 2,300,000 by 25,000, we get 92. Now, 92, 2.5 ton stones each. See, the trouble with this number is there is no logical explanation for how even one of the 2.3 million 2.5 ton stones was quarried out of anywhere with just a fucking handful, bitches. That was not me. Can you see where I'm coming from? Can you see where I'm coming from? Right? Now, take a break. No, I'm good. What is it? What's going on? What I need to know right now, right, is going to be, I'm going to say everybody's going to be looking at those and saying, no, dude, that was lightning. How? Just make sure you're on the bus right. How can How can that not be water erosion? How can that not be water erosion? How can there be 3 pyramids, right, of the Giza Plateau? The 3 proper ones, right? And the tallest one, okay, the tallest one, it has a remarkably smooth top, doesn't it, compared to everything else? Like, can we argue with that? No, right? Look, it's down there as well, isn't it? It's not smooth, but from a distance, it looks remarkably smooth. Dare I say, like a baby's bum, compared to this stuff. Right? Look, smooth. Now, what we do here, we have that information and then we go, right, now what is under that smooth, baby bottom smooth top? Well, what we have is a big, like a gash. It's something that has eroded away. But the thing is, this is the funny thing. It's on the north, south, east, and west faces. Right? So now let's all just calm down. Now we've got a smooth top. And then right under the smooth top, it's the highest bit out of the 3 pyramids, right? And it's smooth. Now everything below it, it's got this, like this rough texture, like something else has happened to it that didn't happen to the smooth baby's bum top. Now what on earth? The thing is, below the smooth bit, north, south, east and west, what on earth could make an erosion pattern like that high up, right? And somehow leave the others unscathed, almost as if it could have been water and no, it can't be. Napoleon Bonaparte and cannonballs. See, I can see how maybe no fucking way. It doesn't compute. Computer says no. Napoleon Bonaparte and cannonballs. Computer says no. Computer says no. Earthquakes. Pyramids. Something's telling me. Look, it's a hunch. I don't think much falls off of the pyramids when there's earthquakes. Yeah, but we know that in such and such a year, because it's written... Shut up. Bus this afternoon, it's leaving at 6, early evening. There might still be a room on it. It cannot be anything. Look, guys, gals, maybe you're not colourblind. There's colourblind, isn't there? People see different colours, right? I see green, somebody else might see red, or I don't know, right? But when we're looking at this erosion, water erosion mark that's on the north, south, east and west faces of Giza, 80 metres up, I see an erosion pattern. A fairly convincing one for me. But some of you see lightning strike pattern on the north, south, east and west faces. Some people see Napoleon Bonaparte firing cannonballs at it on the north, south, east and west faces. It's doable, isn't it? Everything's doable. It's the moon. Everything's doable. And then, What is it? Have they made people that confused? Because it's almost as if people aren't actually looking at the picture. When you say these things, you can't be looking at the picture. What is it that you're seeing? Are you guys hypnotized? Did you know that at the very beginning of TV time, in the 1920s or 30s, whenever it was, they had a, what's that cat? It's a cat. Is it Felix? Might be. In the UK, we had a BBC One, BBC Two test card on the TV when nothing was on, and it would just sit there. There was this blonde girl with brown hair and the colours, and she would just be there like that. Do you know what you guys had? You guys had like a Felix the cat, and it used to spin around for hours on TV. Rather than have nothing, they had a spinning, and people used to stare at it, apparently. There is something amiss, right? Something is amiss. I don't think it's me. I think I'm just your average Joe, right? Been around a little bit, and I see stuff. I call it like it is. By the way, I think it's 20 years, isn't it? They say, the pyramids. Oh, the pyramids, 20 years. Well, it was last week. Who knows? Who knows what it is now, right? If it took them 20 years, it was 7,300 days. This is another thing. All of this stuff, you don't even need to think to come up with these things that prove it impossible. That's what I don't get. What do you get numbers? Do you understand what 7,300 is? It's 20 years. So 3,500, 3,650 is 10 years. Do you know how that works? Like days, years, months, weeks, that kind of a thing. Of course I'm being silly, but for crying out loud, how can 25,000 Egyptians have built? There is no explanation for even one single solitary 2.5 ton stone being carved out of anywhere with copper hand tools. 20 years, 7,300 days. If we divide 6.5 million tons by 7,300 days, we get 890 tons per day. So the Egyptians, with copper hand tools, sleds, and ropes. Anybody want to give them anything else? Like a magic wand? And Merlin, maybe. Maybe Harry Potter was there. Leave it with me, Egyptians. I'll get it sorted, he said. 890 tons every single day of every single week, of every single month, of every single year for 20 consecutive years. Yeah? All of those on board with this one times the bus leaver, mate. 6. Be on the bus sharp. 6. Bring your own rope so I can hog tie you and kick you off and drag you for a spell. Now, there is one thing that could, oh, by the way, that's 37 tons per hour. It's the numbers thing, right? So what you do, we have the 890 tons per day. Now there are 24 hours in a day. So what I do, right, I divide the number for the day, and then I divide that number by 24, okay? And it gives how many tons per hour? Of course I'm being a sarcastic wanker, right? You divide it by 24. Now, 37 tons every single hour. There are people out there. Get this, right? This is a true story. Quite a while back. I hope you're watching, mate. Maybe 3 or 4 years. This is a true story. I was talking about this with him. And I'm saying, don't be ridiculous. And do you know what he said? He said, 37 tons per hour is nothing when you have 25,000 Egyptians. And you know what he did? He divided it by 25,000, and I think it came out to something like, I can't remember, a couple of kilos or something like that each. Now, in my best English slang essay Spanish, explained to him that the smallest things that we were talking about weighed 2.5 tons. But he decided, this is what I mean. How on earth could it be a wind-up? Is it the planet thing? We're on different dimensions. Maybe Neil deGrasse Tyson has a point with the dimension. No, joking. No. Some of the comments that I have seen about all sorts of stuff, whether it's anything, nothing in particular. Some of them, like that one, are almost like straitjacket stuff. Lock him up. Lock him up. Get him on the bus trip first. Put a few burn marks on him as we drag him across the asphalt, and then we'll just cut the rope when we're outside the lockup. Some of the things that people say makes you question everything. Maybe it is a test for me. Maybe you guys are my test. And when I finally realise that you're my test, somebody plucks me up. And then I get given my own freaking galaxy or something, not just a planet. Because this right here is beyond a joke. You guys are having me on with the photons. You're having me on with the pyramids and the erosion mark. You're having me on with everything, aren't you? Admit it to me. Admit it to me. Admit it to me. Right. Something is seriously out here. Something is out. I'm joking, but I'm being serious as well. For me, I look at this, I look at that water erosion mark, and I say to myself, where did that freaking water come from? I don't start going, maybe it's lightning strikes, or Napoleon, maybe had a half hour to spare. And how many cannonballs, right? How many cannonballs do we think? Those of you who think cannonballs, how many do you reckon? North, south, east and west faces of Pyramid Giza. 80 meters up. How many cannonballs? Go on, give us one of those guesses. It's like those jars where there's about 4,000 little tiny round marbles in. How many cannonballs did Napoleon Bonaparte use to make that erosion type pattern on the north, south, east and west faces of Pyramid Giza? How many lightning strikes? Because I'm curious. How many lightning strikes would it have taken to do that perfect, I say perfect, right? Perfect water erosion pattern around the top of Pyramid Giza? How many? Like 1,000? Like, psh, psh, psh. Did it all happen in one storm? Or was it spread out over a year, you know, like 10 strikes every day. Maybe it was a tropical climate like it used to be in Florida when I lived there. And maybe because of that climate and the way the pyramids are situated, that when the clouds came, the storm clouds, because of the lightning struck in the same places, because it doesn't usually strike twice in the same place. So maybe it's like an inch away from the last strike. Now that is something. What about the earthquakes? How do we see that happening there? So we've got I call it a gash. Doesn't sound right, does it? But it's about, I always say it's about 20 meters wide and between 7 and 10 meters deep. That's quite a lot, isn't it? Do you know how many? I'll show you, look. See, the thing is, right, when you say, oh, Bonaparte and earthquakes, oh, we didn't do the abrasive sound one, did we? We really should. That's proper entertainment. Now look at that. So, what this is, right? It's catastrophic water damage that took a long, long time. Each one of those tiny little things, they're 2.5 ton stones. 2.5, let's see if I can get a laser small enough. How do I use that one? No, the red one. Will be probably go. Now, so that's too big. This laser that I've got, it's bigger than the 2.5 ton stones. Okay, that's how many there are. That is water damage. It's catastrophic water damage. It isn't Egyptians scurrying up in the middle of the night and taking bits and pieces back so that they can build a bakery in downtown Cairo the weekend. It's ridiculous. Do you know one of the reasons why it's ridiculous? Because they had all of these, didn't they? And they had the other two pyramids, and it kind of defies the logic. I say that, not on this planet it doesn't. So it could be fairly logical. If you needed a stone, it could be fairly logical to climb up the biggest pyramid, stop at around 80 meters high, and then go, I'll take some of this stone with me. This is a good spot to start building a stone supplier. It could be logical for this planet, couldn't it? Now that I think about it, it could be logical. Maybe that's how I need to start looking at things. Just because I don't think it's logical doesn't mean everybody else doesn't think it's logical. Maybe that's what I need to start doing. Maybe that's what I need to start doing. I have a question. So when science told people that it didn't care about your common sense, because you were told this, weren't you? Science said, guys, well, everyone, science doesn't care about your common sense, and the universe does not have to make sense to you. Once you got that memo, how long did it take for people to dump their common sense to get to the stage where people are at now? Like, is it a week, a year? What happens? How does it play out? Just so I know what I need to go through, the process that I need to go through to see photons where none exist. What is the procedure? It's not like an operation or anything, is it? It's just standard verbal diarrhea. And then you just start believing absurdities, I guess. Happy days. Well, this afternoon was entertaining, wasn't it? If anybody knows of anyone who could be on a different planet, see, that's unlikely because you guys, you're always on about aliens and stuff and you haven't seen any. So how would you know if there was somebody like me in a situation like me, just the reverse, with loads of really clued up, intelligent people, and he would just be so out of his depth, wouldn't he, poor bugger. Imagine that, him going, no, it's fucking photons, and everybody else is going, dude, it's absolute light, there's no delay. And that one guy is going, yes, there is, of 8 minutes and 20 seconds, it's obvious. Isn't it? Well, folks, I'm going to call it there. I call it an absurdity, yet to be. I'm just wondering, what else is left for me to do here? Because I think we've reached the end, haven't we? Kind of. Of course we haven't. Of course we haven't. Anybody think about that buoyancy and the density, the rivers, the flat earth? The trouble, here's another thing, right? All of the round earthers, right, on hearing this information that it's flat, just joking. When I was holding this, saying for years, they've been submerged. It's a slam dunk. Oh, sorry about the lightning and everything else. I apologise for the way it's worked out for you guys. They've been submerged. And do you have no idea. Like some people, they have that one question, right? A question. You guys, the question might be, where's that shoelace gone from my left shoe, right? My question has always been, I know that they've been submerged. There is no doubt, it's a slam dunk. Right? It's a slam dunk. But it was a slam dunk that didn't make sense, because there is no way that this planet, the round planet that it is, could have unleashed that amount of water for that amount of time, because it's a long time. And you can see that, you can see that as it's, there's 3 different levels, right? Can you see that? See what I mean? Look, you can even see down this. But what I'm saying is, it's very, very difficult, right, to just jump off now and go, right, it's a flat earth, isn't it? It's insane, especially if you've been a round earther all of your life. But here's the thing. I went over it yesterday, right? The water of the oceans. I have to say it one more time. It doesn't matter what people say, right? It doesn't. It's very strange to think that there is this inches per mile, 8 centimeters per kilometer. I'm not going to say it's highly illogical, but I will say it's illogical. It is. It is. It is, okay? It just is. The other thing, like when you sail with a boat, and you know what the funny thing is? When they do it, when they're going around the moon, they make it look like they're going upside down, don't they? They're going sideways and they're looking in at the planet. Yeah, Neil, yeah. 3 degrees yacht. That kind of a thing. They make it look like they're circling the planet, but going upside down, don't they? We don't do that here. It's not big enough. It's not a universe, is it? So, flat or round? Look, I pip it. I have to. I have to give it the benefit of the doubt for it to be flat. I really do. I have to. Because for me, this right here, it was the one thing that I thought I was going to leave this place and not know where the water came from. But it makes sense. All of those people that have been saying it's flat, it's flat, it's flat. I'm so glad that I stayed objective. I really am. Because it explains so much to me. I'm going to go off on a limb here again, okay? It's not hypothetical, it's not theoretical, but it's out there. Because you still don't 100% know that it's flat. But I will say something here. This planet does one. Every now and again, it does one. And when it does one, it's water. It's lots and lots and lots of water. And very, very, very fast, right? It is. Now, I don't know what truth there is in this supply of water up at the North Pole, in the Arctic. But there are signs of civilizations disappearing almost overnight without any warning, isn't there? There is. So you have to say to yourself, don't you? Where did they go? Water. The amount of stuff that's found in the oceans and the seas, and it's amazing, right? Now, it's a little bit about common sense and logic again. I know you guys don't fly with that shit, but for me, I'm 8 to 9 out of 10. I'm leaving 1 or 2 open as a courtesy for the last 55 years. I'm not wired like you guys. If something's logical and it ties in with common sense and it's borderline slam dunk, that's it, right? You can leave doors open with certain things and you can close them with certain things. The rounder, of course, you have to leave a door open, don't you? So you feel sorry for it. No, not really. You leave. There are people who know. People who have claimed to take the photographs of this planet. You need to talk to them. You need to talk to them. They need to come clean with you. See? Everybody's going around in circles, na. Yeah, but what about the photographs? What about the photographs? The blue marble, the blue dot. As long trust of the innocent is the liar's most valuable tool. The kids, the children, are never going to have it fair, are they? Right? So, but the highlight of my decade so far, for me, is knowing where the water came from that submerged the pyramids. It came fast. It didn't give anybody much time to do anything. Right? Yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to go now. Okay. I'll be back later on. All right. I'll post this and I will talk to you guys later. Some of the handyman's just turned up. Not that I'm not a handyman, but he's a, yeah. Laters.